I hope you have enjoyed the readings in this unit about how adults learn. You read about Piaget and his 4 concepts of development, which are schemes, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. Let's review each of these and apply them to a personal experience. When I think of schema theory, I like to imagine a scaffold. We have all seen scaffolds on the outside of buildings, maybe as a brick mason was laying bricks, how that the scaffold starts at the bottom and then progressively works higher. The same thing is true about learning. New learning is often built upon a foundation of old learning. We use what we already know as a foundation for that new knowledge. And sometimes when something doesn't exactly fit on top of that foundation, it can be a little bit disconcerting. We need to understand this, and we need to understand how we can use schema to help students learn. Schema theory. Let's apply this a bit to an example of something I observed with my daughter. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and when she was just a bit beyond 1-year-old, we had taught her about not touching hot things. Don't touch the stove. Don't touch a fire. So she learned that something when it was glowing red was hot. Don't touch it. One day I was doing something, I was reading a book with her, and there was a picture of a flame on that book. And it was really interesting because when we turned the page, my daughter's hand was initially on the flame. And then when she saw it, she quickly removed her hand. What was going on there? Well, let's think about that as we move through this concept of schemes and assimilation and accommodation and disequilibration. Schemes are whatever content you're teaching, and we need to identify how students may connect what they already know to their existing information. We want to connect the new information to their prior knowledge. We don't want to be involved in just rote learning. We want learning to be meaningful. We want learners to be able to connect the new knowledge to something they already know so that it is meaningful to them. As professional educators, we do not want to just teach to the test. We want to produce professionals who actually understand what it is that they are learning. Assimilation is the process of understanding a new event in terms of the existing schema. Accommodation is the process of modifying that existing schema, resulting in the new information. Equilibration is the process of trying to restore that balance. And the best learning often occurs when students are in a state of disequilibrium. Remember what I told you about my daughter when she saw that flame? Well, then when she realized that the photo of the flame was not hot, she had to assimilate that information into her existing schema of hot things. And then she had to add to that the schema of photos of hot things, so she made an accommodation to her knowledge set. During that process, there was a little bit of disequilibrium when she quickly removed her hand from the page. Well, that illustrates some of what our learners, our students, go through as they're learning new information. Maybe they read something in your course that doesn't exactly fit with what they have already known. Well, that produces a wonderful teaching moment, and we need to exploit that and make use of that as we are teaching adult learners. As an effective teacher, we want to use these pre-existing schemes which students hold about content, provide activities which allow them to connect the new content to their existing knowledge, and then take advantage of these moments of disequilibration. But we need to understand that when we upset someone's equilibrium, that can be disconcerting. And many times this may make students want to stop the learning process because it's uncomfortable. When this happens, we want to be an encourager. We want, as an instructor, to encourage the students to hang in there, that they're going to figure this out, and remind them to keep involved. What's coming up next? We will be talking about some of the principles of behavioral learning.